Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Yusef Scott, and I thank all of you for being here with me today watching this video. All right, all of you who have subscribed to my channel, I thank you so much. All of you who are my loyal viewers, I couldn't thank you enough either, as well as those of you who found me for the first time. I'm sure that even you will find that my content is quite invaluable, and you'll have guaranteed to have more knowledge than you did before you came here. All right, now this video is going to be a continuation of my previous video on how to become a patient trader, but this time I want to get you guys to think about some things, okay? Because there are so many lost traders in the Forex market. I want you guys to really think about the Forex market, and I want you guys to understand the process of the thought process. I want you to understand your thought process as you're trading on the market, okay? Because we all go through that. We all go through the thought process, and you have to become in tune with your thought process to understand how to go against it, how to if you're making mistakes, how to get out of that issue, okay? We have to understand how to do that. So you have to be in tune with yourself. That's number one, okay? So what this video is going to be about is basically letting you guys know how to reprogram your thinking, all right? But it's not just going to be on, okay, this is what you need to think about. I want to take you guys down a road that some might be forbidden to talk about because they might not understand it. Some of you might not quite understand everything that I'm going to expose today in this video, but some of you will. Some of you, I'm going to pique your interest, and I'm going to make you think. You're going to leave this video and you're going to be thinking about what I've told you, because that's just the way it works. All right. Now, what I want to tell you guys is this. The Forex market, it's a very simple and easy market. Unfortunately, you've been programmed to think that it's hard and think that you have to do things a certain way to achieve certain results. But that's just the opposite of what it's supposed to be. All right. So many of you, and if you know that I'm telling the truth, raise your hand. So many of you trade on the small time frame. Why is that? Because when you first learn about Forex, 95 if not 99% of those who told you about Forex, or those who sort of guided you in your beginner days of your journey, only understood in and out trading. Okay, they only understood that getting in and getting out real quick. They only understood trading off the minute chart, the smaller time frames. So where does that leave you? It left you programmed into thinking that's the way you're supposed to do it. I understand that. It's understood. But once you learn to unlearn those types of habits and behaviors, that's when you start to see things that you couldn't see before. Because you're in a box right now. Once you get out of the box, you're going to be able to see more than just that roadway. You're going to be able to see the beautiful foliage of the nice fall or autumn scenery. You'll be able to see all of that, not just the roadway. Okay? Unfortunately, some people are so caught up in that they can only see so far ahead, and they can only see what's directly in front of them, not to the side. And that's where the programming lies. Because all you know is what you've been told. And that's where closed-mindedness come from. All right? A lot of people are not aware that other things even exist. Because of that, they're sort of like in a matrix. They're doing things systematically. They've been programmed. So it's your turn to break out of that. Okay? It's time for you to break out of that. A lot of traders have been told that if you trade on the minute chart, you can make a lot of money real fast. And unfortunately, people, their thought process, the way they think, the way they process things is, if I'm trading on the minute chart, I can make all this money in a minute. Because, Rob told me that he trades on a minute, and I see he's making hundreds of dollars every day. So the way they perceive that is that trading off of a smaller time frame, you can make decent money or good money. But that's not totally true. It's just the opposite. Okay? Because let me tell you something. On the 1 minute time frame, on the 5 minute time frame, on a 30-minute time frame, on a 1 hour time frame, the 4 hour, the daily, all of the time frames, your currency pair, your symbol is at one price across the board. The only difference is how often, or let's say how frequent, a new candle will open. Do you guys understand that because you're trading on a minute chart, it causes more anxiety? Because if you go low and the market goes up and it's creating these candles going up and up, you start to, it causes more anxiety. And that's why trading on the trading long term, trading on a daily, it's like smooth sailing, baby. I could look at one candle all day and determine what's going on tomorrow. Unfortunately, trading on the minute chart and smaller time frames, you see the market going up. You see these candles getting bigger and bigger, and they're going up really fast. And every minute you got a new candle, and it's going up, then it's going down, it's going up, it's going up. So you're like, what in the world is going on? But guess what? It's moving at the same pace as it does on the daily. The same pace. So you shouldn't be faked out. So if it's moving at the same pace, why not trade on a time chart that's going to give you more of a financial reward? Unfortunately, on the lower time frame, you have 1,440 candles in one day to look at. That's a lot of stress. Which is why so many people are losing. Because people, the way they translate making money in Forex is trading at a higher volume, but on a smaller time frame. When you can trade at a safe volume, but on the higher time frame. Just the opposite of what you're supposed to do. I'm not one who, I don't follow what they say. What they say is just the ordinary. So many people run to these certain sites and they get this information. Not to say all the information is false, but a lot of the information is nothing more than programming. See, in order for me to reprogram students, you have to learn to unlearn all the things that you were once told. The challenge for me could be, how deep is your understanding of that knowledge? That's just the opposite of what you should know, what you should do. So what I want you guys to understand is this. In order for you to see things differently or have different results, you must do something different than you've always done before. All right? If you're still doing the same thing, you're going to achieve the same results. That's why most of you notice that I trade at the same volume. I trade at the same volume all the time. I have a system. When I got away from the thoughts of what was once told and what was once believed, I started to see the market. I became aware of what's really going on in the market. And it's not what's being told and taught. There are so many people leading newbies, intermediate traders, even some of the advanced traders, leading them. When I mean it by advanced, let me retract that. There are so many people being led astray. And it doesn't matter the experience level that one might have. You might have 5 years, you might have 15 years, but you can be led astray. Why is that? Because of the fact that you are in a programmed state. You only know what you've been told, and you're only doing what you know to do. So once you learn how to do something outside of that box, that's when you start to achieve or start to receive different results. And that's what the reprogramming is all about. They want traders to believe that you can make riches by trading on a smaller time frame. Just crank up your volume. Yes. But guess what? You have to babysit your chart all day long. And the worst of all of that is the fact that by ramping up your volume, guess what happens? You have just a little bit of strength inside of your account, just a little bit of room where the market can go against you before you are bye-bye. That's it. So it's just the opposite. I'm one that I can trade at a certain volume, or I trade at a certain volume, that's it. When one thing that people do not understand is they don't understand the money management. They don't understand how to manage their money. They do not understand that money is just a tool. It's not the money that you're after. You should be after is the knowledge. That's it. So with that deeper understanding of what's going on, you become aware of what's really going on. All right? Every night we do the same thing. We lay down, we rest our head, we go to sleep. The next morning we are awakened. We are awakened. When you become awakened, when you become aware of what's around you, not just what's directly in front of you, when you could see everything left to right, everything around you, full circle, that's when you start to make and you start to receive the full results. Unfortunately, not everyone can say that. Not everyone will tell you this because he or she doesn't know. I want you guys to understand that in order to be reprogrammed, you have to do something different. You cannot follow the same instruction that was provided before that got you in this state. All right? One thing that most might not even know is that, you know, trading Forex is high frequency. And when you hear the word high frequency, when you look at the word, or when you understand high frequency, and then you tie that in with Forex, one might believe and one might gather that he can make a lot of money quite fast. While that is true, certain words are put together to mislead you. Forex wasn't designed for the average Joe to make currency. Fortunately, and also unfortunately, with the advent of the internet, now you have your Instagrams, you have your Facebooks, you have all of your different social media sites. There are millions of people trading on the market. So what does that do for the programming? People are at an all-time low frequency because they've been sort of like put into a matrix. They're in a matrix. They're being controlled by what's available and what's being put out. That's all they know. That's all they know. That's why it's important to know where your knowledge is coming from. Knowledge is power. The training that I provide is you're not receiving training. We're exchanging currency for knowledge, not currency for money. All right? It's a big difference. That's why there's no wrestling with the value or the price points. There's value in the knowledge. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are they do everything against what logic would tell them. Why would you, if you have no knowledge in Forex or anything for that matter, why would you, when you know that you are maybe suffering financially, you are burdened and stricken with the lack of, take your last and take a signal from a service that is not worthy, or just take a signal, period. That's why I don't offer a signal service. But however, that's why I offer trade alerts. I alert my students of possible moves in the market. I live this. I don't toy around with this. You're dealing with people's money. Just because you might not make the right decision with yours, I'm going to make the right decision with mine. I'm going to make that decision. But when you're connected with me, when we're connected, I have to make sure that I'm doing what's right in order for there to be a continuous flow of positive energy. You take my trade alert, you look at the market for yourself, and you determine if it's a good reason to get in. I'm not going to tell you to get in on a market. I want you to take your trading seriously. So many people, they're doing just the opposite. They are trading live first, then they lose, then they want to train on practice with, a demo account. Just like the analogy I used in my last video. If you are just learning how to do a certain thing, or you have no knowledge on a certain subject, you're starting a new job, your boss or your supervisor won't put you out there to the wolves if they are business savvy. That's not the right thing to do. We don't do that. You pair them with someone that has the knowledge already that can be that they could soak up information from, like a sponge. And then you send them off on their own. This here life, it comes full circle. We were born into this existence with our parents as our guidance to help us along till we got to a certain point. And then we take the reins for ourselves. We go out there and we do things for ourselves. It's the same thing. The same exact thing. Don't do it backwards. Your parents would be looked at as an unfit parent if they sent you out on your own at 2 years old. Who would do that? That's ridiculous. All right? It's logic. So, don't do anything that's going to be against the grain. It's not logical. I want you guys to understand. I want you guys to really understand that the programming that you're in, it's because that's all you know. It's just like putting on your shoes, tying your shoelaces. You don't have to think about doing it. 30 some years old, 40 some years old, 20 some years, even 10 years old, you just tie your shoes. Because you're programmed. You've been doing it for so long. Now it becomes habitual. Now it becomes a part of you. It's just human nature now. But it's time to unlearn that. How do you unlearn bad habits? You unlearn bad habits in the Forex market by doing something that you've never done before to achieve or receive results that you never realized. So many people in the market are coming to the market with an ounce of understanding and totally wiping out all of their savings accounts. Everything, checking account, savings account, credit cards, to the max. And they never raised their hand and said, I need help. And if they did, they're going to the wrong people. Because those people, too, are programmed into doing what they told you to do. It's been a long time. I had to get out of that, what they tell you to do. I'm no longer underneath that control. When you have that power, you can program people to do things. I'm no longer a part of that, no longer associated. That low level frequency doesn't have me. When you start to become aware, your frequency heightens. The vibration is crazy in a good way. So I want you guys to take away from this video here some key points. In order for you to reprogram your thinking, you have to, one, realize, what do you think? When do you think these things? Why are you thinking these things? When you're in on a Forex trade, all right, you're ready to pop that trade open. You're on a 1 minute chart. You put that sell in, and just like everyone else, when you first open up your trade, you're in the negative. All of a sudden you see it gets really close to being in a profit or break even, but it shoots up. It shoots up and it starts going away from you. And over the next 4 or 5 minutes, it's going up. And I mean, the candles are big candles. They're going up higher and higher. And you start to panic. The reason why you started to panic is because you weren't confident in your move. When you become confident in your move, you'll just look at the market going up and down. It's just common. You know, that's what the market, that's what it does. It's the truth. But once you start to understand everything, you start to realize that, you know what? Screw this small trading. Because you start to realize that, you know what? You know, they told us that, you know, if we trade on a minute chart or a 5 minute, you know, we can grab 2 or 3 pips out of the market and we can make a couple $100 a day. But they fail to tell you that you have to sit in front of the charts all day, when you can literally enter the market, find a perfect entry on the daily, pop that trade in, sit back and watch it. Sit back and chill and watch it go into the money. The next day, deeper into the money. You may even have a day where it goes against your direction. But you're so far deep into the money that it doesn't faze you. That's what it's about. The difference of making just 2, 5, 10 pips in a couple hours to making a couple 100 pips in a day. Making a couple 1,000 pips in a week or more. You've been programmed. It's time for you to be reprogrammed. It's time for you to see the market in its plainness. It's time for you to build that confidence, because when you first start to when you open up that trade and the trade goes against you, you start to panic. It's because you have low confidence in your move. You need more training. You need a better understanding of what the market, what it does. It's okay if the market goes against you. You know, the long term, you already see what's going on. You're looking at this road that's painted right here on the background. You see the road. You can only see but so far. But you know the road is going forward. But if you're not tuned in to looking at everything, you can only see that road and you can only see but that far. You don't know that at some point that road, as far as you go, the closer you get to it, the farther that road is going to go. But if you're not tuned in, if you can't see You can only see but so far. You can't see that there's far more road ahead. You can't see that. So when you learn to get out of the tunnel vision and look at the entire picture, when you learn that right now it's 8:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and if we went to the charts and if we were on a GBP and ZD and if the price was at 170,500, okay, on the minute chart is at 170,500 across the board. All right, you have to know and you have to build the confidence so that when you place that trade, you're not panicky. You don't become anxious. Trading on the long term was a huge stress reliever. Trading on short term, looking at the minute chart, looking at those smaller time frames, too stressful. You have to build that higher level of confidence. How do you do that? You do that through using a perfect entry strategy, or finding a strategy that you can use and that you have, because it's shown you that it's profitable, it's consistent, and you do the same thing each and every time. Do not deviate from it. Once you start to develop that confidence, you trading on demo, you start learning that this thing works each and every time, or 95% of the time or 90% of the time this thing works, the panic and the fear almost diminished in its entirety. All you have to do now is know when to get out. If you reverse engineer the perfect entry strategy, you know when to get out of the market. You know. But if you allow greed to take over, everything that you once earned is now gone. Right? If you allow euphoria to set in because you've made a couple winning trades and now you become too cocky, like the market cannot hand you a loss, that's when you are handed a loss. You have to know when enough is enough. Take your money and realize that I started off with 1,000, I've made 300, I'm up 30% for the day. I can go and do something else for the rest of the day. I'm good. Instead of trying to hammer away at it, making $300, losing 100, making back 50, losing 75. You know, these emotions, these thoughts, the thoughts that you have while you're trading, you have to learn to unlearn them. Get so far out of your mind that you have to trade on a smaller time frame because the larger time frames you need a lot of money and your account is too small to trade that. That's baloney. Remember, the same price that's on in 1 minute, it's the same price on all other time frames. It's just about how much are you willing to make. Your volume traded is very important. The volume you trade at and the size of your account, they work together. When you start to increase your volume too much, when your account size is here, your account size is here, and if your volume is going up but your money is staying here, your strength is just like the distance between the two. Okay? If your dollar amount is here and your volume is here, and as you make your money, you're doing this. As you pull money out of your account, you do this. That's when you keep a safe margin. You're never stopped out. But when you have a dollar amount here and your volume is here, and you start to increase your volume and it's steady increasing, but your dollar amount is staying the same, the gap between the dollar amount and your volume is diminishing, and as it diminishes, that's where your strength is, until you have no more strength inside the account. That's when you go bye-bye. Do not allow the so-called gurus, do not allow the programming to control you anymore. Take control. You guys there's a lot of information. I'm going to show you something. A lot of people are like this. If you look close enough, you can probably see something. But a lot of people won't see that because they're so caught up in getting down the road. They can't even see what's around them. All right? But at some point, they start to become aware. They start to see. And now they start to see it. Man, I see something there. They're like, there's a box around this. I see that. You better learn how to get out of that. And the way you do it is you get out of that. You don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in, you want to be off the grid. You don't want to be in the matrix where you're being dangled around. All right? You want to make sure that you're in control. Every piece of information is not good advice. There's a lot of information online. But everything isn't wisdom. All right? Everything is not wisdom. You guys have to understand that. So the takeaway from this video is you have to learn to unlearn all of those things that you were taught. Those things that you found yourself doing repetitiously and you're getting nowhere. It's time for you to try something different. Try something anew so that you can receive different results. Until then, you still remain in the same box that they put you in. Each and every one of us, we go to bed at night. The next morning, we are awakened. Some of us are really like this, while some of us are aware, and we are vibrating at a certain frequency that we know what's going around. We know what's going on. The market, I want you guys to understand this. Do not be easily fooled into taking these bonuses that the brokers so swiftly advertise. The bonuses are not, if they do not let you have the bonus, and if it's not mentioned, if it's just, here's the bonus. Yes, you may deposit 1,000 in your account. They may give you 500 as a sign-on bonus, whatever it may be. But trust and believe. When your account gets down to a certain percentage because you fail to follow the programming, if you didn't follow the system, what happens? They're going to take their money to prevent you losing their money. And what happens to your account? Your account now, you're back down to the same percentage as you were before it all started. So I want you guys to understand, taking the bonus that's given, it's not necessary. Having a higher level or having high leverage, it isn't necessary. Do not let that fool you into thinking that you need it. You do not need it. When you are trading on your account, the only money that's in your account is your money. So having a one-to-one leverage that's your money. You don't need anything more than that, because if you know how to trade, you know how to trade. All right? Do not think that with a higher leverage that you cannot lose. Truth of the matter is, you might have more strength, but it's not real. It's just on paper. Because once your account size go down, you're trading at these higher volume levels that you can trade higher, but what do you think happens? When you start making these bad trades, you're losing your money just as fast. So it's just like having the same amount of money in your account. If you decide to trade using using the bonus provided by the broker. When you fail to trade properly, they're going to yank their money before you lose it. And it's going to bring your account to an even weaker state. That's something to keep in mind. So do not be fooled, and do not allow what they tell you to reign as important. Start to have a thinking of your own. Start thinking outside of the box and not get boxed in. All right? Do not be boxed in. You can do this by really understanding everything that Forex has to offer. As a Forex trader, what helped me along the journey that I've decided to take was seeing the truth about the market. The truth about the market is not it's not as hard, or it's not hard like they say. They want to get into your head and make you think it's hard, so you can panic, so you can learn all of these different strategies and all these different have all these different all these different lines and indicators on your charts. You don't need it. I teach my students very basic but yet powerful things about the market. All of the topics that I teach my students are very, very powerful. Unfortunately, so many people are so lost that they can only see. It's amazing of how many people cannot see beyond excuse me, you guys. It's so amazing as to how many people cannot see beyond what's really in front of them. They can only see that far. And when the market does what it's supposed to do, because it does it all the time, that's when they just lose it all. I want you guys to take away from this video the proper way of becoming successful as a Forex trader. And that is, you have to reprogram your thinking. You have to reprogram and restructure all that there is that you know about Forex. They tell you to go right, go left. They tell you to trade the small time frame, trade the longer, trade longer. What I want you to do as a way to prove to you that trading long term works, find what you consider to be a great entry. And on demo, you must do this and let that trade run for one entire day. If that trade is out of the money, then chances are your entry wasn't correct. If it's in the money, ask yourself, is this a lot more than what I was trading when I was on a smaller time frames? Chances are, if your entry was right, it is. All right? And if you notice that after the first day you're in the money, let it run another day. Only if you feel like it will go further. Because the first day was just proof to show you what you can make. The second day, if your entry isn't right, you might lose a little. That's why the perfect entry strategy is so powerful. That's why I hold my trades for so long, because I know where it's going. It's time for you to do the same. All right, now, please, if you have to watch this video again and again, I've dropped many jewels in this one video, and it's going to, without a doubt, touch millions of people. And it's not necessarily because of a million people will watch this video. It's because of the amount of people who's going to watch this video, and they're going to share it with thousands of others. That's why. It's time for a new energy to come across the Forex trading industry, because there are so many people lost. It's time for you to reprogram your thinking. It's time for you to make a change. It's time for you to do it today. You can't, while you cannot read every book by its cover. Some things are just so darn easy. And not to be cliche, but so many people have turned their back on a good thing because they thought that it was too good to be true. But it's their loss. Sometimes people are just a little wiser than what you really think. Sometimes they're just aware. It's time for you to become aware. You guys have a fantastic and great Forex journey, and a good night. Peace.